Well, good afternoon. I bet you didn't expect to see my smiling face today. I didn't either. But stuff happens, and when it does, we all take care of each other. I didn't want y'all to go without a devotion today, and Brother James was indisposed, so here I am. And while it's late, I hope some of you pick it up and get to run with it and enjoy it. Because you know what? We're talking about what's going on. Let me read you a passage. Isaiah 25, starting in verse 1, going through verse 7. O Lord, thou art my God. I will exalt thee. I will praise thy name, for thou hast done wonderful things. Thy counsels of old are faithfulness and truth. For thou hast made a city an heap, of a defenced city a ruin, a palace of strangers to be no city. It shall never be built. Therefore shall the strong people glorify thee. The city of the terrible nation shall fear thee. For thou hast been a strength to the poor, a strength to the needy in his distress, a refuge from the storm, a shadow from the heat, when the blast of the terrible ones is as a storm against the wall. Thou shalt bring down the noise of strangers as the heat in a dry place, even the heat with the shadow of a cloud. The branch of the terrible ones shall be brought low. And in this mountain shall the Lord of hosts make unto all people a feast of fat things, a feast of wines on the lees, of fat things full of marrow, of wines on the lees well refined. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all the people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Now, what am I talking about, and why did I bring this up? Well, bottom line is, I know you all know there's a storm coming our way, and it very likely could be a Category 1, potentially hurricane, by the time it makes landfall just south of us. Now, storms are not something that we are afraid of per se, though we should have a proper respect. They're not something that are unusual for our area, but they are storms. And storms always bring the possibility of property loss, loss of life, loss of health, potentially. So they are something to be taken very seriously. But, like I said, it's not something unusual to us. Life is full of storms. There are many kinds of storms, and life is absolutely full of them. Every place has the potential for storms. You can have snowstorms in the north, terrible snowstorms that can seal people in their homes for days. We have hurricanes potentially here. Up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, they are more likely to get thunderstorms, serious mega thunderstorms. In California, they've got earthquakes, and then here, Texas, California, you can have firestorms. In Saudi Arabia, you can have sandstorms. In the Pacific Islands, they get monsoons, and no matter where you live, there's going to be weather challenges of one kind or another. If you move from one place to another, you're just trading one set of potential problems for another problem. There are ice storms that can come. Even here, we had that back in February, a frozen time here where it did lots of damage. So no matter where you are going to face storms. No one gets out of this world alive. And very few, if any, ever get out of this world without suffering physical, emotional, mental, or property loss of some kind. It's part of the world we live in. It's a fallen world, and things happen. So what do you do? What do you do? Stuff is going to come your way. Storms this time, but who knows what else is after this. Stuff is going to come, and it's going to happen to you. What do you do when the storms of life, come your way? Well, let me say, first of all, trust God. Trust God fully. You need to believe that He's God, that He's good, that He's great, that He loves you. He's got the plans. He's got your life in His hands. He'll take care of you. He'll take you through the storm. He won't necessarily always divert the storm. Sometimes He does. But if He doesn't divert it, He'll take you through it. Second thing you should do is be prepared. You prepare your property, obviously, as best you can. You prepare your location as best you can. More importantly, you prepare your spiritual life as best you can. Make sure that relationship with God is right and good and close. And also, and kind of goes along with making sure that relationship with God is right, make sure your relationship with others is right. Make sure if you leave this world, you leave with a clear conscience. Even more important, make sure if others in your life leave this world, that when they leave, your conscience with them is clear. So you don't have to live with that guilt of having never made things right with them. Let's prepare your spiritual life. Make sure you're close to the Lord. Be prayed up. Be read up on the Scriptures. And then weather the storm. Go through it. Just acknowledge we're going through a storm. We're going to go through it. And may I say, Scripture says to thank God in all things. Now, sometimes it's hard to be thankful, but we are commanded to thank God. So thank Him for the storm. Thank Him that He will, and be thankful that He will carry you through it. See the benefits that come from the storm, as well as opportunities to help others and be a witness for your Lord to others that may just now be looking to Him because trouble has come their way. And then, reach out. Reach out to other people. You can help them. You can help them through counsel. You can help them through loving them. You can help them through praying for them. You might be able to help them by doing things for them physically, cleaning up a mess, going and helping them, whatever they got going. Reach out, help other people. And remember, the Scripture says, He maketh the storms a calm, so that the waves thereof are still. What does that mean? That means that, while it may be a storm, when God's carrying you through it, it doesn't seem like it's such a bad thing. You know you're in the palm of His hand. Yes, they're scary. The disciples were afraid when the storm came up on Galilee, and Jesus said, peace, be still. He made that storm go away, but you know, He might have said, guys, I'm with you. Keep doing what you're doing. We will go through the storm this time. More often than not, that's what He says. So go through it with Him and know that you'll grow closer to Him and closer to others and have a greater life story as a victory of going through the storm with your Lord. Y'all pray for Brother James. See you next time.